My sister accused me of trying to steal her husband during her wedding toast in front of everyone because I fixed his tie. I was halfway through fixing his tie when he let out this shaky laugh and said, "If I mess this up again, I'm walking down the aisle looking like a middle schooler." "You're not going to mess it up," I told him, smoothing the knot into place. "You're just nervous. It's allowed." He exhaled hard, nodded twice, and muttered something about not being able to feel his hands. I stepped back, gave him a thumbs up, and that was it. 10 seconds, maybe 15. A sister helping her future brother-in-law not look like a disaster in the wedding photos. I didn't think about it again until hours later, when the reception was in full swing, and my sister stood up with the microphone. Everyone clapped, expecting the usual tearful thank you speech. She started fine, voice a little wobbly, talking about how grateful she was for everyone being there. Then her tone shifted. "I also want to talk about loyalty," she said, and the room got quieter. "About trust, about knowing who your real family is." I glanced at my mom, who looked confused. My dad set down his drink. My sister's eyes locked onto me, because apparently, she continued, voice climbing, some people think they can just waltz in and try to steal someone else's husband. The applause died mid-clap. Someone's fork clinked against a plate. The DJ stopped the music. I felt my face go hot, my chest tighten, but I forced myself to sit still. She couldn't be talking about me. She wasn't talking about me. "Yeah, I'm talking about you," she said, pointing directly at me. "My own sister, at my wedding." The room went silent in a way that felt physical, like all the air had been sucked out at once. 200 people staring. My mom half stood, mouth open. My dad said something I couldn't hear over the ringing in my ears. I shook my head, tried to form words, but nothing came out. "You think I didn't notice?" she went on, voice cracking now. "You think I'm stupid? You've been all over him since day one." "I haven't," I started, but she cut me off. "Don't lie to me," she screamed, and someone gasped. "I saw you. I've seen everything." I stood up without thinking, hands raised like I was trying to calm a wild animal. "I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't done anything." Her husband, her brand new husband, was frozen at the head table, face pale, looking between us like he'd just walked into a trap. He opened his mouth, closed it again. "You helped him with his tie," she spat. "You were touching him, right before my wedding." I blinked. "He asked me to help. He couldn't—" "I don't care what he asked," she shrieked. "You should have said no. You should have known better." My mom finally found her voice. "Sweetheart, calm down. This is—" "Don't tell me to calm down," my sister snapped, whirling on her. "Everyone's always taking her side, always. Like I'm the crazy one." I felt my throat close up. Every face in the room was locked on me, waiting for me to defend myself, to explain, to fix this. But there was nothing to fix. There was no logic here, no version of reality where helping someone tie a tie equaled betrayal. I looked at my sister, at the wildness in her eyes, and realized she actually believed it. She wasn't performing. She wasn't exaggerating for effect. She genuinely thought I'd done something unforgivable. "I'm not doing this," I said quietly, barely audible over the stunned silence. "Of course you're not," she shot back, "because you never take responsibility for anything." I grabbed my purse from the back of my chair. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. My mom reached for me, said my name, but I couldn't stay. I couldn't stand there and let her turn me into the villain in front of everyone I knew. I walked toward the exit, heels clicking too loud against the floor, and behind me I heard my sister say, "See, she's running," because she knows I'm right. I didn't look back. I made it 3 steps before my sister's voice cracked through the silence again. "Don't you dare walk away from me." I stopped. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me still thought I could reason with her, that if I just stayed calm and explained one more time, she'd hear it. I turned around. She was standing now, microphone still clutched in one hand, the other pointing at me like I was on trial. Her face was flushed, eyes glassy, and I couldn't tell if she was about to cry or scream again. "You've been doing this all weekend," she said, voice shaking. "Flirting with him, making little comments, acting like you're so helpful, so sweet, when really you've just been waiting for your chance." "I haven't flirted with anyone," I said, louder than I meant to. "I've barely even talked to him." "You were touching him," she shrieked. "Right before the ceremony in the back room. I saw you." Her husband finally moved. He stood up, hands out like he was approaching something fragile. "Babe, she was just helping me with my tie. That's it. I asked her to." She rounded on him so fast he flinched. "Oh, so now you're defending her?" "I'm not defending anyone," he said quickly. "I'm just saying what happened. It wasn't— there was nothing." "Nothing?" she repeated, voice climbing again. "Nothing? You let her put her hands all over you and you think that's nothing?" My mom was on her feet now, moving toward the head table. "Honey, please, you're upset. Let's just take a breath and—" "I don't need to take a breath," my sister yelled. "I need everyone to stop acting like I'm imagining this." My dad stood too, slower, his face tight. "You're making a scene." "Good," she snapped. "Maybe someone should." The room was still frozen. A few people had their phones out, not even pretending they weren't recording. My uncle was halfway out of his seat, looking at my mom like he didn't know whether to intervene or stay out of it. The bridesmaids sat in a stiff row, eyes wide, mouths shut. Then the projector clicked on. Everyone's heads turned toward the screen at the far end of the hall. The slideshow. I'd forgotten about the slideshow. The first image filled the wall, enormous and unavoidable. Me and him, sitting across from each other at a picnic table, mid-laugh. It was from a family barbecue 3 summers ago, back when they'd just started dating. Someone had caught us in the middle of a board game, both of us grinning like idiots because he'd just made the worst move possible and lost spectacularly. Completely innocent. Completely random. But in that moment, with 200 people staring and my sister still holding the microphone, it looked like evidence. Someone gasped. I heard it clearly, a sharp inhale from somewhere near the back. My sister's face twisted into something I didn't recognize. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. She looked at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. "Are you kidding me?" she whispered, and the microphone picked it up, sent it echoing through the hall. "That's from years ago," I said quickly, desperately. "We were playing a game, it's nothing." The image changed. The next photo appeared, and my stomach dropped. It was from the rehearsal dinner the night before. A candid shot someone must have taken while we were all sitting down for appetizers. I was next to him at the table, leaning slightly in his direction, mid-sentence, smiling. He was looking at me, nodding, his expression relaxed and friendly. me. Completely normal, completely explainable. But the way it looked, framed like that, blown up on the wall, right after my sister's accusation, it didn't feel normal anymore. The room erupted in murmurs. Low, shocked, overlapping voices. I heard my aunt's voice rise above the rest. Too loud, too tipsy. Well, she said, almost laughing, they do look kind of cute together. The murmurs stopped. Everyone turned to look at her. She had a champagne flute in one hand, cheeks pink, grinning like she'd just made a harmless joke. She didn't seem to realize what she'd done. My sister's face went blank for half a second. Then it crumpled. She let out a sound I'd never heard before, something between a sob and a scream, and hurled the microphone onto the floor. It hit with a deafening crack, feedback screeching through the speakers. I knew it, she screamed. I knew it and no one believed me. Her husband reached for her. Babe, stop. Please, this is... She shoved him away. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. My mom was moving now, practically running toward the head table, my dad right behind her. The bridesmaids finally stood, looking at each other like they were trying to decide whether to help or flee. I stood there, frozen, staring at the screen as the slideshow cycled to the next image, some generic shot of the bridal party, and felt the entire room's attention shift back to me. My sister was sobbing now, ugly and loud, her hands covering her face. Her husband stood beside her, pale and helpless, looking like he wanted to disappear. This is insane, I said, barely loud enough to hear myself. This is completely insane. You ruined my wedding, my sister screamed through her hands. You ruined everything. I looked at my mom, at my dad, at the 200 people still staring. No one was moving to defend me. No one was telling her to stop. I turned and walked out. This time, I didn't stop. The hallway outside the reception hall was cold and bright, fluorescent lights humming overhead. I could still hear her voice through the double doors, muffled but unmistakable, rising and falling in sharp bursts. I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes. My phone buzzed, then again, then 3 more times in rapid succession. I pulled it out. Messages flooding in from cousins, friends, people I hadn't spoken to in months. Half of them asking if I was okay. The other half asking what the hell just happened. I didn't answer any of them. The doors swung open and my mom came through, moving fast, her face tight with worry. She spotted me immediately and crossed the hallway in 4 quick steps. Are you okay? She asked, reaching for my arm. I'm fine. You shouldn't have left. I stared at her. She threw a microphone at the floor and accused me of sleeping with her husband in front of 200 people. What was I supposed to do? I know, she said quietly. I know. But leaving just makes it look like what? I cut her off. Like I'm guilty? Mom, there's nothing to be guilty of. She hesitated, glancing back toward the doors. I know that. But she's not thinking clearly right now. She's upset and people are... My mom winced. Your dad's trying to calm things down. He took the mic, told everyone to take a break, have another drink. But what? She didn't answer right away. Then softer. Her friends are with her right now, and they're not helping. I knew exactly what that meant. My sister's bridesmaids had always been fiercely loyal, the kind of group that turned every minor slight into a betrayal. If she told them I was trying to steal her husband, they'd believe her without question. Let me guess, I said. They're telling her she's right. My mom nodded slowly. I pushed off the wall. I'm leaving. Don't, she said quickly. Please, just give it a few minutes. Let your dad talk to her. Once she calms down, she's not going to calm down, Mom. You don't know that. I do. My voice came out harder than I meant it to. You saw her face. She's convinced. And nothing I say is going to change that. My mom opened her mouth to argue, but the door swung open again and my dad stepped through. He looked exhausted. His tie was loose, his jacket unbuttoned, and there was a thin line of sweat along his hairline. He saw us and walked over, rubbing a hand across his face. How is she? My mom asked. Not good. He glanced at me. She wants you to apologize. I laughed. It came out sharp and bitter. For what? She thinks... He stopped, corrected himself. She says you've been inappropriate all weekend, that you've been trying to get his attention, and that those photos prove it. Those photos prove nothing, I said. One of them is from 3 years ago. The other one is from last night when I happened to be sitting next to him at dinner. That's it. That's all it is. I know, my dad said, but his tone was careful, like he was trying not to set me off. But she's not seeing it that way right now, and her friends are backing her up. They're saying they noticed things too. Like what? He hesitated. What did they say, Dad? That you were hovering during the rehearsal, that you kept finding excuses to talk to him. I know, he said again, quieter now. I'm just telling you what they said. I felt something cold settle in my chest. It wasn't just my sister anymore. It was spreading. Where is he? I asked. Her husband. What's he saying? My dad glanced at my mom, then back at me. He's trying to calm her down. He told her it wasn't what she thought, that you were just helping with his tie, but she doesn't believe him? She thinks he's defending you, my mom said softly. She told him if he keeps taking your side, it means he's choosing you over her. I stared at her. That's insane. I know. So what? He's just supposed to lie? Pretend I did something I didn't do? Neither of them answered. I turned toward the doors, toward the muffled noise still filtering through. I could hear music now, faint and awkward, like someone had restarted the playlist in a desperate attempt to salvage the night. She's going to tell everyone, I said. Isn't she? She's going to spend the rest of the night convincing people I tried to ruin her wedding. My dad's silence was answer enough. My phone buzzed again. I glanced down. A text from one of my cousins. Are you seriously trying to hook up with her husband? I felt my stomach turn. They already think it's true, I said quietly. My mom reached for my hand. People will forget. It's just wedding drama. It'll blow over. No, it won't. I pulled my hand away. You know it won't. This is the story now. This is what people are going to remember. My dad shifted uncomfortably. If you just apologize, for what? I repeated, sharper this time. What exactly am I supposed to apologize for? For upsetting her. I didn't upset her. She upset herself. She's your sister, he said, and there was an edge to his voice now. Frustration bleeding through. She just got married. This is supposed to be the happiest day of her life, and now it's ruined. I finished. Because of me, right? He didn't deny it. I looked at my mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Unbelievable, I muttered. The doors opened again, and one of the bridesmaids stepped out. She saw me and stopped, her expression shifting into something cold and pointed. She wants to know if you're coming back in, she said. To do what? I asked. To apologize. I'm not apologizing for something I didn't do. The bridesmaid's mouth tightened. Then I guess you're okay with ruining her wedding. I didn't ruin anything. That's not what it looks like. She crossed her arms. Everyone saw those pictures. Everyone heard what your aunt said. And honestly, the way you've been acting all weekend, it's not that hard to believe. My mom stepped stepped forward. That's enough. The bridesmaid ignored her, eyes still locked on me. She's in there crying her eyes out because her own sister tried to steal her husband on her wedding day. So yeah, maybe you should apologize. Get out of my face, I said, voice low. She didn't move. Now, my dad put a hand on my shoulder. Let's just go. Come on. I shook him off and turned back toward the exit, walking fast, my heels clicking sharp against the tile. Behind me, I heard my mom call my name, but I didn't stop. I pushed through the front doors and out into the night. The air was cool and still, the parking lot half empty. I could see people through the windows of the venue, moving around inside, the reception continuing like nothing had happened. My phone buzzed again. Another text, another question, another accusation. I turned it off and kept walking. I made it to my car before the first voicemail came through. I didn't listen to it, just watched the notification light up my screen, then fade, then another, then a third. I sat in the driver's seat with the door still open, one foot on the pavement, staring at the steering wheel. My hands were shaking, not from cold, from something deeper, something that felt like it was vibrating up from my ribs. Instead, I sat there, frozen, while the glass doors of the venue glowed warm behind me, and the bass line of some generic dance track pulsed faintly through the walls. My phone lit up again, this time a call. My brother. I answered. Where are you? He asked, voice tight. Parking lot. You need to come back inside. No. Listen to me, he said, and I could hear noise in the background, voices overlapping, someone laughing too loud. It's getting worse. She's telling everyone you've been obsessed with him since they started dating. She's saying you volunteered to be a bridesmaid just to stay close to him. I closed my eyes. That's not true. I know that, but she's saying it, and people are listening. Let them listen. You don't get it, he said, frustration bleeding into his tone now. She's making a list. She's going through every single time you were in the same room as him and reframing it. She told everyone you insisted on riding in the same car to the rehearsal dinner. She said you asked to sit next to him at brunch last month. She's building a case. A case for what? For kicking you out of the family. I opened my eyes. She can't do that. She's trying. He paused, and I heard him step away from the noise, his voice dropping lower. Dad's on her side. My stomach dropped. What? He's not saying it outright, but he keeps telling people she's under a lot of stress, that weddings make people emotional, that maybe you should have been more careful about how things looked. How things looked, I repeated, voice flat. Yeah, I helped him tie a tie. I know. That's it. That's literally all I did. I know, he said again, quieter now, but it doesn't matter. She's got people convinced, and the more you stay away, the more guilty you look. So what, I'm supposed to go back in there and let her scream at me some more? I'm saying if you don't, this is the story. Forever. You're the sister who tried to steal the groom. I didn't answer. Are you still there? Come back inside, he said. Please, just for 10 minutes, let people see you're not running. Let people see you're calm. I am calm. Then prove it. I hung up. For a long moment, I just sat there, phone in my lap, staring at the dashboard. The check engine light had been on for 3 weeks. I kept meaning to take it in, kept forgetting. My phone buzzed again. A text from a college friend. Just saw a video. Are you okay? I stared at the message. A video. I opened Instagram, searched my sister's name. Her account was private, but her maid of honors wasn't. The video was already up, posted 6 minutes ago. It was shaky, filmed from someone's phone at a bad angle, but the audio was clear. My sister's voice high and sharp, cutting through the noise of the reception. She's been trying to get between us since day one. I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up. Look at the pictures. Look at how she looks at him. The camera panned slightly and I saw myself in the background, standing near the exit with my parents. My face was blank. I looked tired. The comments were already rolling in. Yikes. This is messy. She doesn't even look sorry. If my sister did this, I'd never speak to her again. I locked my phone and dropped it onto the passenger seat. Then I got out of the car and walked back toward the venue. The front doors were propped open now, and I could see people milling around in the lobby, holding drinks, talking in low voices. A few of them saw me and went quiet. I kept walking. Inside, the reception had fractured. Half the room was still trying to pretend everything was fine, dancing stiffly under the string lights while the DJ played something upbeat and desperate. The other half had clustered near the bar and along the edges, whispering, phones out, refreshing feeds. My sister was near the head table, surrounded by her bridesmaids. Her face was blotchy, mascara smudged, but her eyes were sharp. She saw me the second I stepped inside. She pointed. There, she said, loud enough to carry. There she is. The music didn't stop, but the energy did. People turned. Conversations died mid-sentence. I walked toward her, slow and steady, keeping my face neutral. Her maid of honor stepped in front of me, arms crossed. You need to leave. I'm not leaving, I said. She doesn't want you here. I don't care. My sister pushed past her, eyes locked on mine. You have some nerve coming back in here. I didn't do anything, I said, voice calm. You've been doing it all weekend, she hissed. Don't act like I'm crazy. Everyone saw it. Everyone knows. Knows what? I asked. That I helped your husband tie his tie? That I sat next to him at dinner because that's where the seating chart put me? That I've been polite and supportive while you've been spiraling? Her face went red. You think you're so innocent. You think no one notices, but I see you. I've always seen you. See me do what? Try to take what's mine. I stared at her. You're out of your mind. She slapped me. The crack of it echoed through the room, sharp and clean. My cheek stung, hot and immediate, and for a second I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what had just happened. Someone gasped. Someone else said, oh my God. I touched my face. My fingers came away clean. No blood, just heat. My sister was breathing hard, her hand still raised, her whole body shaking. Get out, she said, voice breaking. Get out of my wedding. I looked past her toward the head table. Her husband was standing there, frozen, his face pale. He opened his mouth like he was going to say something, but nothing came out. No one moved. I turned and walked toward the exit, my heels sharp against the floor, my face burning. Behind me, I heard my sister start to cry, loud and theatrical, and the bridesmaids rushed to comfort her. I didn't look back. I made it to the lobby before my mom caught up with me again, grabbing my arm, pulling me to a stop. Wait, she said, breathless. Just wait. I yanked my arm free. I'm done. She didn't mean it, my mom said quickly. She hit me. My mom's face crumpled. I know, but she's not herself right now. I don't care. My voice came out cold, flat, final. I'm leaving. Don't follow me. I pushed through the doors and out into the night, the cool air hitting my face like a reset. My cheek still stung. stung. My chest felt tight. Behind me through the glass I could see people watching. Phones up. Recording. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove. My phone was ringing again. I didn't look at it. The check engine light glowed steady on the dash. I focused on that instead. Something concrete, something fixable. I ended up at a gas station on the edge of town, one of those 24-hour places with fluorescent lights that made everything look slightly unreal. I parked under the overhang and turned off the engine. My cheek still burned where she'd hit me. I pulled down the visor and looked at myself in the mirror. There was a faint red mark along my cheekbone, already starting to fade. By tomorrow it would be gone. No evidence. Just another thing that happened that I'd have to explain without proof. My phone buzzed again. I picked it up this time. 17 missed calls, 32 texts. I scrolled through them. My brother, my mom, 2 cousins, the college friend, a few people I hadn't spoken to in years, suddenly very concerned about my well-being, and one from a number I didn't recognize. I opened it. "This is the groom. Can we talk?" I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "No." 3 dots appeared immediately. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Please, I need to explain." "There's nothing to explain. She's not usually like this." I almost laughed. "I don't care." "You should have, but you didn't." The dots appeared and stayed there for almost a minute. Then finally, a response. "I know." I locked my phone and got out of the car. Inside the gas station, the cashier barely looked up. I bought a bottle of water and a bag of pretzels I didn't want, and stood by the window, watching cars pass on the street outside. My phone rang. The same unknown number. I answered. "I told you I don't want to talk," I said. "I'm in the parking lot." His voice was quiet, strained. "I can see your car." I turned. Through the window I saw him standing next to a sedan I didn't recognize, still in his tuxedo, the tie I'd helped him with now loose and crooked. "Go back to your wife," I said. "I can't, not yet, not until we talk. We have nothing to talk about. She thinks we're having an affair." "I know what she thinks." "She's been thinking it for months," he said, and his voice cracked slightly. "Every time you were around, every time we were in the same room, she'd find something. Some look, some comment, some moment that proved it in her head. That's not my problem." "I know." He was quiet for a second. "But it became your problem tonight, and I let it happen. I let her build this whole story, and I didn't push back hard enough because I thought if I just stayed calm, if I just kept reassuring her, she'd realize she was wrong. She slapped me in front of 200 people," I said. "She accused me of trying to steal you like I'm some villain in a soap opera she's been writing in her head. You think a conversation is going to fix that?" "No," he said, "I don't." I didn't respond. "But I need you to know I never encouraged it," he continued. "I never gave her a reason to think there was anything between us. I've told her that 100 times, and she doesn't believe me. Then that's between you and her. She's talking about calling off the marriage." I closed my eyes. "You're already married." "I know, but she's saying it doesn't count. That the whole thing was a lie because you were there. Because she can't trust me around you. That's insane." "I know. So what do you want from me?" I asked, voice flat. "You want me to apologize? Disappear? Pretend I don't exist so she feels better?" "I don't know," he said, and he sounded exhausted. "I just needed you to know I'm sorry. For all of it. For not stopping it sooner. For letting it get this far." I opened my eyes and looked at him through the window. He was standing with his hands in his pockets, shoulders slumped, staring at the ground. "You should go back," I said. "I will. And you should figure out if you actually want to be married to someone who thinks you're cheating every time you talk to another woman." He didn't answer. I hung up and walked back to my car. He was still standing there when I pulled out of the lot. I didn't look back. I drove home on autopilot, parked in my driveway, and sat in the dark for a while. The porch light was on. I'd left it on that morning, back when the biggest thing I had to worry about was whether my dress fit right. Inside, my apartment was exactly as I'd left it. Shoes by the door, coffee mug in the sink, the kind of mundane, untouched stillness that felt almost insulting after the night I'd just had. I dropped my bag on the couch and stood in the middle of the living room, still in my bridesmaid dress, still wearing the stupid heels that had been killing me since the ceremony. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. I picked it up, a text from my brother. She's posting about it. I opened Instagram. My sister had posted a long caption under a photo of her and the groom from earlier in the night, before everything fell apart. They were smiling, arms around each other, looking like the perfect couple. The caption started with, "Today was supposed to be the happiest day of my life." I kept reading. She talked about betrayal, about trust, about how hard it was to watch someone you loved be manipulated by someone you thought you could trust. She didn't name me directly, but she didn't have to. The comments were already full of people connecting the dots. "I'm so sorry this happened to you. You deserve better. Family can be the worst sometimes. Stay strong, queen." I scrolled further. Someone had posted a screenshot from the video of her yelling at me. Another person had posted a zoomed-in photo of my face right after she slapped me, captioned, "The look of guilt." I locked my phone and threw it onto the couch. Then I went into the bathroom, peeled off the dress, and stood under the shower until the water ran cold. When I got out, I had 43 notifications. I turned my phone off and went to bed. I didn't sleep. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, replaying the night over and over, the toast, the slideshow, the slap, the way everyone had looked at me like I was the problem. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, I heard my phone buzz from the other room even though it was supposed to be off. I ignored it. At 4, I gave up on sleep and made coffee. At 5, I turned my phone back on. The first thing I saw was a text from my mom. "Your father and I think it's best if you don't come to Sunday dinner for a while just until things calm down." I read it twice. Then I deleted it and blocked her number. I deleted the wedding photos from my cloud storage at dawn. All of them. The getting ready shots, the ceremony, the reception, every single image where I smiled next to people who now thought I was a liar. My finger hovered over the trash folder. Permanent delete. I pressed it. By 7 in the morning, my inbox had 23 new messages. I opened one from a cousin I barely knew. "Just wanted to say I believe you. What she did was horrible." I closed it without responding. Another one from a different cousin. "You should really apologize. She's your sister. Family is forever." I marked it as read and moved on. The video appeared around 8. I didn't see it at first. My brother sent me a screenshot with the caption, "It's everywhere." Someone had posted the full meltdown to TikTok. The toast, the slideshow, the slap, all of it. 26 seconds of my sister screaming at me while 200 people watched in frozen silence, ending with me walking out the side door. The caption read, "Sister attacks bridesmaid at her own wedding after accusing her of trying to steal the groom. Wait for the slap." It had 40,000 views. By noon, it had 500,000. The comments were a war zone. The bridesmaid didn't even do anything. The bride is unhinged. Imagine ruining your own wedding because you're jealous of your sister. That slap, though. I would have swung back. This is what untreated mental illness looks like. Both of them are probably drama queens. Weddings bring out the worst in people. I watched it once, then closed the app and put my phone face down on the table. It didn't stop buzzing. My sister called at 1 in the afternoon. I didn't answer. She called again 10 minutes later. Then again. Then again. On the 5th call, I picked up. Take it down, she said. No hello, no preamble. I didn't post it. I know you didn't, but you need to make them take it down. It's ruining my life. I almost laughed. Your life? Maybe you shouldn't have screamed at me in front of 200 people. Silence. I was upset, she said finally, quieter now. You don't understand what it's been like. Watching you two together, seeing the way he looks at you. He doesn't look at me any kind of way. You don't see it because you're not paying attention. But I see it. I've always seen it. There's nothing to see. You tied his tie, she said, and her voice cracked. You were in the room with him alone and you touched him and he let you. He asked me to help because his hands were shaking. It took 30 seconds. It should have been me. I closed my eyes. You were getting your makeup done. It should have been me, she repeated, louder now. Everything should have been about me. It was my wedding, my day, and somehow you still found a way to make it about you. I didn't make anything about me. You did. She was crying now, full sobs that distorted her voice through the phone. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. They're saying I'm abusive, that I'm a bridezilla, that he should leave me. Maybe they're right. The line went dead. I set the phone down and stared at the wall. My mom called an hour later. You need to fix this, she said. I didn't break it. You're making it worse. Every time you don't respond, every time you don't try to smooth things over, people think you're being vindictive. I'm not being anything. I'm staying out of it. That's not how it looks. Her voice was tight, controlled. The tone she used when she was trying very hard not to yell. Your sister is falling apart. She's talking about annulling the marriage. She's saying she can't trust him, that she can't trust anyone, and you're just sitting there letting it happen. I'm not letting anything happen. She made her choice. She's your sister, and she slapped me in front of everyone and called me a liar. She was emotional. She was cruel. My mom was quiet for a moment. Then she said, if you don't try to make peace, people are going to think you're the problem. People already think I'm the problem. Not everyone. Enough people. She sighed. Your father and I just want this to go away. We want our family back. Then tell her to apologize. She's not going to apologize. Then I guess it's not going away. I hung up before she could respond. The family group chat was chaos. I'd muted it after the wedding, but curiosity got the better of me and I opened it around dinner time. 217 unread messages. I scrolled to the top. My aunt had posted a link to the video with the caption, "This is so sad. Praying for everyone involved." Someone else replied, she shouldn't have left. Walking out just made it worse. She didn't have a choice. What was she supposed to do? Stand there and take it? She could have tried to talk to her sister instead of making a scene. She didn't make the scene, the bride did. Both of them were out of line. How was the bridesmaid out of line? She literally just stood there. She shouldn't have tied the groom's tie. That's weird. Oh my god, it's not weird, it's a tie. You people are acting like she kissed him. I'm just saying boundaries matter. This whole thing is so embarrassing for the family. I locked my phone and shoved it into a drawer. The next morning, my sister posted on Facebook. I didn't see it until my brother forwarded it to me with the message, she's losing it. The post was long, a full essay really. She talked about betrayal and trust and the pain of watching someone you love be manipulated by someone who was supposed to care about you. She didn't name me, but the subtext was clear. Some people will smile to your face while they're tearing your life apart behind your back, she wrote. Some people will pretend to support you while they're waiting for you to fail. And some people will never admit what they've done, even when the evidence is right in front of them. The comments were split. I'm so sorry you're going through this. You deserve better. This is heartbreaking. Stay strong. Maybe take some time offline and focus on your marriage instead of airing this publicly. She's allowed to process her feelings however she needs to. Processing feelings is one thing. Public accusations are another. I didn't comment. I didn't react. I just closed the app and went for a run. When I got back, there was a voicemail from the groom. I almost deleted it without listening, but I didn't. His voice was quiet, strained. I just wanted you to know I'm moving out. Not permanently, maybe. I don't know, but I can't stay in the house right now. She's convinced I'm in love with you, and nothing I say changes her mind. I've tried everything. Therapy, talking, space. Nothing works. So I'm staying with a friend for a while until we figure out what's next. He paused. The message ended. I saved it. I wasn't sure why. The gossip hit the extended family by the end of the week. I heard about it through my brother, who heard about it from our dad, who heard about it from his sister. Apparently, my sister had told everyone that the groom had moved out because he couldn't handle the guilt of what he'd done. No mention of her paranoia, no acknowledgement of the accusations, just a clean, simple narrative where she was the victim and he was the coward who abandoned her. People believed it. At least some people did. Others started asking questions. If he cheated, why isn't she angrier? If he's guilty, why is she still defending him? If the bridesmaid really did something wrong, why hasn't anyone said what it was? The cracks were starting to show. 2 weeks later, my college friend called. I talked to someone who was at the wedding, she said. One of the groomsmen. He said your sister had been acting paranoid for months, that she'd accused him of flirting with bridesmaids, accused the best man of taking his side, accused random guests of judging her. He said everyone was walking on eggshells the whole time because they didn't know what would set her off. Why are you telling me this? Because people are starting to realize she's the problem, not you. I didn't respond. I know you don't want to get involved, she continued, but you should know that the narrative is shifting. People are talking, and not in the way she wants them to. Good, I said and hung up. A month after the wedding, my mom called again. She's getting help, she said. Therapy, medication, she's trying. Okay. She's not ready to apologize yet, but she's working on it. I'm not holding my breath. She's your sister, my mom said again, like it was a magic phrase that would fix everything. She's also the person who slapped me in front of 200 people and then blamed me for ruining her life. She was struggling. So was I. My mom didn't have an answer for that. 2 months after the wedding, the groom filed for separation. I found out through Facebook. He didn't post about it, but someone else did. A mutual friend who tagged him in a vague post about new beginnings and choosing yourself. My sister called me that night. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. I hope you're happy, she said, voice flat and cold. You got what you wanted. He's gone. The marriage is over. Congratulations. I deleted it without finishing. The apologies started trickling in after that. Quiet messages from people who'd judged me at the wedding. Distant relatives who'd assumed I was the problem. A few bridesmaids who'd frozen me out in the group chat. I'm sorry I didn't speak up. I feel awful about how things went down. None of them said it publicly. None of them defended me where it mattered, but they said it, and I guess that was something. I didn't respond to most of them. 3 months after the separation was finalized, I ran into the groom at a coffee shop downtown. He was ordering at the counter when I walked in. Our eyes met for half a second. He nodded. I nodded back. Neither of us said anything. I got my coffee and left before he finished paying. That was it. The entire interaction. 30 seconds of shared space and then nothing. It felt like closure, even though nobody apologized. My sister moved back in with my parents a few weeks later. I heard about it through my brother, who said she was doing better, but still wasn't ready to talk. I didn't push. The video eventually disappeared from TikTok, flagged and removed for violating some vague community guideline. By then, it had been reposted a dozen times on other platforms, but the views had plateaued. People moved on to the next viral meltdown. I deleted my social media entirely. Not out of anger or shame, just exhaustion. My phone stopped buzzing. The family group chat still exists, but I left it months ago. My brother sends me individual updates now when something important happens. Births, deaths, holidays, the essentials. I don't ask about my sister. She doesn't ask about me. Some fractures don't heal. They just stop bleeding. I kept one photo from the wedding. Not from the slideshow, not from the ceremony. Just a candid someone took during setup, before everything imploded. I'm laughing at something off camera, holding a box of centerpieces. I look happy. I was.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your favorite part in the comments. See you in the next one.